Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this afternoon on a Sunday where, well, the Oilers officially now 2-4 on the NHL season. Their only two victories come in games in which they've got fighting majors. And of course, there's a ton of talking points we can get to about this Edmonton Oilers team. One of them obviously being the old and slow topic, and obviously as well the losses this team's incurred since Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson solidified the top of the organization in terms of management. So let's go discuss all that. But before we get too far, if you are new to the channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Stick around. You know what? We always got something to talk about here with the Oilers. So glad to have you aboard if you so choose. So what do we know about the Oilers? Well, we're 2-4. Yeah, we haven't looked all that great. I mean, the Nashville's game was the best game of the year, and we scored, 4 goals in it? So I mean, not like we've had that lightning strike power play, lightning strike offense that we normally do. And, well, that's led to some questions here for the Edmonton Oilers, quite honestly. And you're looking at this, and I'm going to show you this graphic, and it's going to be like, oh, that could have solved some problems right there. This is Philip Broberg's stat card on Sportsnet.ca through the first 6 games of his NHL season this year. 19 minutes and 42 seconds time on ice. Obviously, that shooting percentage, that's a little, and I'm not so sure that's going to stack up the rest of the season. So wouldn't invest too much on that. But the 5 assists, the 1 goal, the 6 points in 6 games played, one of a few players to do that over the course of his career. Yeah, you know what? That's a tough loss for the Oilers. Now, I will caution this. This is a failure on the Oilers at this point, given the state of the defense at current, right? I think we would definitely... Nothing against Troy Stecher, nothing against Ty Emerson, nothing against what Brett Kulak and Travis Dermott have provided at times throughout this early part of the season. But it does ultimately come down to, you got a guy playing 19 minutes on another team that got scooped up on an offer sheet. Looks bad right now. I'm not sure it will stack up by the end of the year to look near as bad as it does through 6 games. But it's kind of a tough pill to swallow when all of a sudden you're sitting here looking at it the way we are right now and saying, man, yeah, that could change some things, right? If our defense, we had a top 4 D-man solidifying with some points like that, that'd be good. And obviously as well, finding 5 assists in the season shows that there's some goals being scored in St. Louis. So once again, I'll flash that while I queue up the next graphic and kind of just see how that all plays out. But the Oilers have kind of had one bobble after another bobble this preseason and regular season. I don't know where you really lay the blame. There's a lot of chefs in the soup here when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and how this team's going to manage to get through until we acquire our top 4 right shot D-man. But another big waiver situation occurred this fall, and of course for the second year in a row it was Rafa Lavoie in the middle of it. Last year it was the fear of putting them on waivers and losing them. This year it was the effect of putting them on waivers and losing them. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and label one guy as guilty on this front, but I think as an organization, top down for the Edmonton Oilers, just doesn't seem like anyone really fought for Rafa Lavoie within the organization to keep him around, especially after he'd been claimed on waivers. You claimed him back and somebody else claimed him at the same time. You couldn't send him to the minors. The Oilers, instead of making any decisions in terms of, hey, you know what, maybe we have an opportunity to insert a different guy into the lineup because everything's not quite going tickety-boo to start the season offensively. And Rafael Lavoie is a big body. He's got some foot speed, and he can obviously change the dynamic out there if he throws the body. Instead, they threw him back on waivers and allowed him to get claimed goodbye gone. So that one stings. Just honestly, that one stings to me just as much as Philip Broberg. At least you got something, Broberg. You got nothing. You got nothing for Rafael Lavoie other than a whole wasted time of development in 10 NHL games. So again, Rafael Lavoie there for your friends, is that's a tough one to swallow. And then realistically, this team has not really come to play this year yet. I mean, yeah, okay, talk about Nashville, talk about the come from behind from Philadelphia, but it's truly what this training camp slide says. The lack of urgency through training camp is really showing, because there are a lot of times within games that the Oilers show a true lack of urgency just to close in on a good scoring chance, shut down a good scoring chance against, whatever the case might be. The Oilers have had real big struggles with, I don't know if it's the motivation category, I don't know if it's the willingness category, but again, I guess not last night, yesterday afternoon instead, against Dallas, we threw, 10 hits in the game. So the Oilers have got to go out there, especially if you've got the knocks in terms of you're older and slower. You got to go out there and really grind out victories. And it just seems for some reason or another, the Oilers refuse to some extent to do that for us here early on in this season. And that's been very frustrating in one aspect of, we know this team can do it. We know this team can do better. We know this team should do better. And they just have not been delivering the goods that we know they're capable of giving us. So for a team that's averaging 2 goals per game, 4 goals against per game, the Oilers are 31st in goals for per game. The Oilers are 27th in goals against per game, 30th on the power play at 6.7, and 32nd on the penalty kill at 55%. That, friends, is quite honestly somehow not the worst team in the NHL. That to me is the alarming part about all this, is the Oilers are not the worst team in the NHL. The Nashville Predators actually are, and they've of course loaded up as well, but it's just kind of silly towns. And I guess the only thing you can really be grateful for is the fact that the Bakersfield Condors have had a decent start to the year. There may be hope on the horizon, sometime similar to last year, around that American Thanksgiving timeline is kind of some of the chatter I've heard, that the Oilers might be looking to change things up, or maybe when things will be ready to be changed up, more accurately to be said. So you look at the stats for the Oilers, though. You've got Calvin Pickard in there at 329 goals against average, 852 save percentage. So for those that are saying he's been way better than Stu Skinner this year, Stu Skinner's at an 851 save percentage. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that front. He's got a 404 though, so okay, sure, but both goaltenders sitting at the 850 mark. We're right back where we were last year this time. Connor McDavid's got 6 points. Leon Draisaitl's got 5. Jeff Skinner is your top 3 scorer with 4 points, and he keeps getting relegated to the third line every second shift over the past 3 games because we demand that Leon and Connor play together for the fans. I don't know what really other point that is serving, if any at all. And then you've got Matthias Ekholm and Brett Kulak as your other top 5 scorers. So you've got Mark, you've got Nugent Hopkins, you've got Nurse with multi-points, and then you got guys like Derek Ryan, who had a goal taken off the board. Travis Dermott has yet to record anything. Vasily Podkolzin's had some great games, but still nothing in the goal column. Ty Amberson, nothing there. Troy Stetcher, nothing there. Zach Hyman's pointless through 6 games. And Victor Arvidsson came to Edmonton thinking he was going to play with Leon Draisaitl, and now he's playing with ghost of Nugent Hopkins, at least to start this year. So welcome to it. There's a lot of things here, but I think those 3 slides there, nailing down the 3 biggest things that really have affected the Oilers here out of the gate. One that just doesn't look good in terms of asset management with Broberg, at least for right now. We'll find out in the future. You as well look at the Rafa Lavoie waiver wire debacle. And then you look at this one here and you say the lack of urgency in training camp. These guys showed up, didn't take it seriously, and now they're getting their butts handed to them, at least to start the year for another year in a row. Welcome to it. Welcome to Oilers Hockey Experience. Edmonton Oilers Hockey. Friends, I'm up on out of here. Have yourself a great rest of the day. If there's any news today, we'll talk. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm up on gone.